Hello, everybody. Welcome back
Hey.
to another episode of Hot Talks with my beautiful family,
Hello,
Candace.
Hi. Am I on? Hi. Hi.
Unfortunately, you're on.
Yes, with my beautiful family, my mother, Candace, my dad, Craig, and my sister, Caitlin.
And the host, Minister Cameron Jafter.
Of course, born in the flesh. Born in the flesh. So we're gonna start the episode a bit different today. So we decided to do a little bit of an icebreaker. So I'm gonna hand over to Caitlin. Do the icebreaker for us.
Okay. Icebreaker. Icebreakers are normally short, so that's not going to take a very big section of the pod. So I'm
Do
going
nothing short, Caitlin.
to ask you to keep it very short. So what I'm going to do is, Mommy, can you hear yourself?
I feel like I'm very soft.
You
I
are
think
quite
it's a bit
soft.
soft, yeah. I think, okay.
I wasn't soft when I did a test, but I am soft now. Cam is extremely loud.
Unfortunately.
You also.
Okay, Dad, don't you want to sort that out quickly?
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
Okay, but while my dad's busy sorting that out, what I want to do is I want to pose a question to all of us. But I want you to answer just with one sentence. Please, Lord, just one sentence. Mom, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. But while we're for my dad, why don't you just like and share this podcast with a
Yep.
family member or a friend. I know this is also posted on YouTube and Facebook.
Yep.
So give it a like, subscribe. Like, why does people like videos and then they don't subscribe? Like, is that normal? Do you do that?
I don't know about that.
Because if I
I
like,
don't do
if I watch videos like consistently and I find like, okay, this family is quite interesting, unless you're not interesting, that's the thing.
That I'm trying to say.
So
Maybe they just liked it and they forgot to subscribe.
But here's another opportunity
yes,
today.
share it with someone.
Yep.
But anyway, so Mommy, don't you want to speak quickly?
1, 2.
Lovely.
1, 2.
Lovely.
Lovely,
Am I on?
lovely.
Yep.
You are on.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, boy.
Okay.
Okay.
So the icebreaker.
So I'm gonna move over to the icebreaker. But what I want you to do is don't forget to show some love to the Hot Talks podcast.
Yep.
Okay. So
Hold on. Did everyone see our cups?
Our new custom cups, hot talk cups.
with
our
your
names
name.
Personalized. Very nice.
If you guys
Very
are
beautiful.
interested, drop us a DM if you want one with your own
Name
name on
on
Own
it.
specialized name. Hot Talks.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Like, who wouldn't want to drink a nice cup of hot coffee in a Hot Talks cup?
No pun intended.
Watching Hot Talks.
Oh, okay. I love that. Okay,
One
right.
sentence.
Okay, let's go over to the icebreaker.
One
What I
sentence.
want you to do, yes. I want you to say one thing that you would tell your younger self. So something you would tell your younger self. Mama, I'm going to start off with you.
Do you have to start off with me?
I have to.
Yeah.
My younger self was extremely shy.
Mm.
And I have to speak to that younger self. If I think about my younger self, I think about that emphasis
The bola.
Tassels.
to
Tassels.
pigtails that our mom actually curled with a finger like this.
Mm.
And then she would like drop it like that and the curl will just like, you know. So that is this younger self I'll be thinking and speaking about.
Mm.
I would tell that younger self that she's got dynamite inside of her.
Sure.
Wow.
It's good.
And so
One sentence.
then it has to be that.
Okay.
Wow.
Dad.
I
Gives us
feel
an
like I've
cliffhanger.
just been cut with a very, very blunt scissors. I would just cut there.
But I feel like that short sentence has so much meaning.
So much
Wow.
power.
Left on the cliffhanger. We're going to get back to that one.
Okay, Dad,
Love
over to you.
I tell my younger self that you are able to do anything that you really put your mind to.
I love that.
Wow.
But was your younger self shy?
No,
Describe your younger self.
no. I was confident.
Was it confidence or was it arrogance wrapped in insecurity?
Okay.
Confident.
That seems so targeted.
In the sweet wrapper.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was arrogance at the time. It was. I was confident, but confident in things I knew that I was able to do, and that's. I believe that's everybody's thing. Like
Yep.
if
True.
you know you can sing, you're confident when you sing.
Mm.
These people that's confident, they know that they can fart, and when they fart, they're confident when they fart.
I
But
think that's Dad.
That's
Um,
your specialty.
but when it's something that you're unsure about, whether you're not sure whether it's a fart or then it becomes something that
Sophie.
you are able.
Sophie.
Don't worry, guy, you're able to do this.
Yeah.
So let's not get nasty, but I'm saying So
Okay. Cams?
I would not encourage him. I would rebuke him. Okay, let's just say it in that way.
amen.
I would rebuke him.
Can you just, because you're my baby, my first baby. So tell me, which younger self are you talking about here? The one with the lots of hair with the curls?
Big bums.
Yeah, it's about
Big-
2 years or 3 years ago. And I
She
would tell
had
him,
bums like a
That's way too soon.
Sorry, Cam. Sorry.
okay. Wow. Anyway,
That's like what?
You were much shorter actually, Cam.
You,
Yes.
I think Kate, when we put this thing together, we need to find a photo of Cam's.
You're truly. We need to
It's
just
like
put it as an
boom.
overlay on there.
okay, anyway, I would talk to my 2 years ago self and I would tell him that being prideful is not all that. Being cool, being prideful is not all that.
That's why I am.
Yep.
Lovely.
Fire.
I'm just gonna leave it at there.
I would definitely tell my younger self that
No one asked you.
I'm ending off the
Oh,
game.
oh,
I'm ending
sorry,
off
sorry.
the game. What I would tell my younger self is that you weren't created to fit in, but you were created to stand out.
It's good.
Yeah, I
Great
feel like
point.
I'm still so young. Like I'm probably speaking to maybe the 10-year-old version of me. Maybe when I was in primary school.
The one that when your teeth were so round.
Baktana. I think
The
you must get. I think you must
Yeah.
get a picture of that one.
I'm talking about the
But
one
he's my piano. You must get that one. Put this one. Play this video.
Yes, you should speak
the
like
Jordans.
this.
I don't know
And
Jordans.
don't forget about the surprises in the bags. So that's for another day.
We need to deep dive that.
That one.
The
that's
gifts in the
serious.
I'm
bag.
still sitting with a big question mark on that.
In the
Mm.
bag. But so for those of you that know us, you'll know
Yeah,
exactly what we're talking about.
Very ashy story.
Yeah, dark and black.
Like stones.
Okay.
Anyway.
But
Okay.
let's do
Before
this
we go
one.
off topic,
Yeah.
over to you, Mr. Cameron Jeffson.
So today's episode, I would like to talk about a topic that we're actually in the month of. It's called the month of love. So we're going to talk about love and deep diving the word love, deep diving what the Bible speaks about love, and just deep diving in general what love is portrayed in culture, and make a comparison to what the kingdom says about love. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give all of you guys a chance to answer this question I'm about to pose. Obviously, it's a simple question. What does love mean to you? So I think I'm going to start from Caitlin, and then we're going to end off with Mom. So what does love mean to you?
I do believe that there's often revelation in definition. So what I did is I googled what love means. And it's an intense feeling of deep affection.
Mm.
So if you love someone, you have this intense feeling of affection, so you want to always be around them.
Yeah.
So that's my interpretation of love.
Wow. Yep, there you can go. What does love mean to you?
I would say that love is sacrificial.
Mm.
I'd give it a sacrificial meaning because love means a lot of things to different people. But when you're at a point where you are willing to, and when I say sacrificial to yourself.
Mm.
So you are willing to give up something that's dear, a feeling, a belief, a possession, but something that you cannot replace. If you're willing to give that up for someone or something, I think that for me, love, the epitome of love, is shown, not proven, but shown.
Yeah.
In that way, when it's sacrificial, when you there's nothing else that if I take this, there's nothing else that I will ever be able to replace it with. But I'll take this, something that I don't see myself living without, and I'll say that you can have this.
Because it's so easy to say I love you, but to show someone that you love
That's
them.
so true.
That yeah,
That
that's very
comes-
true.
And youngsters, they like using those words, I love you. Then I'm thinking, but then again, we were also there when we were also young, and it was a word that one would just use and just like not even know what you actually
Yep.
what you mean.
Yeah. So what does love mean to you?
Love meant a lot of things over the years I've grown up, and I think it just brought more and more revelation as I was growing older. In the past, love for me was a feeling. It was something that made one feel good. It made one feel accepted. It made one feel included. And then you would say, yes, love is kind, and if you're kind, you love, and but that's not what it ultimately means to me. If I think today, as it stands today, if I had to describe love, then love would be having to exercise something when you don't like. So for me, love is something you choose and something you do when you don't like
Sure.
that person.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So liking and loving, like love is deep. It loves when the person's at its best, and it loves when that person's at its worst.
And
And it's got nothing to do with whether you like them or not.
and and I like the word you used, where love is exercised. And oftentimes we think love is an emotion. And knowing the Bible does it articulate that I feel lovable. It's always love is a love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's always a doing. It's always a exercising word.
Yes.
And that's
So-
why it's so important to refer everything back to the Bible, because the definition I just read now, they're describing love as a feeling.
Exactly.
And that could have easily have taken me off to another route of like what I define love to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And from what you guys said now, it's that I just like got this thought that it's so important to refer everything back to the Word of God, because that's where you're going to find the answers, because this is based off someone's perspective,
Yeah.
and culturally this is what love means to them. It's a feeling.
Yep. So I Googled, because Google's my friend. That's a little bit of a joke we invented.
Bishop
Google's my
Google.
friend. Yes.
Apostle Google.
All fivefold ministry Google. Google's all five. So I just Googled what love means and what love is in, what the word love means in the Bible, and four Greek words came up. One is eros, other one is philia, another one is agape, and the other one is storage. So eros is this love means intimately, and like you're loving intimately and passionately, and I think that's referred to intercourse, sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
Philia is the love you have for a friend. Agape is the fatherly love of God for humans, and then storage is a familial love, so family love. So, in saying that, that's why it's so important that we need to understand when we read the Bible. Like, God is not saying that we should love our neighbor the way we love our wives, because we can easily go off that tangent. Like, because God used the same word love, I must love my neighbor and I must love my wife as Christ loved the church. That doesn't mean you're going to sleep with your neighbor now. Or that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're going to have that intimate relationship with your neighbor now. That doesn't mean you're going to talk things with your neighbor that you should be talking with your wife. And many people, or not many people, but some people can read that or read the word and then go for tangent when it's not really God's intention for you to grasp it in that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think how people perceive love to be comes from a place that they have been exposed to. So if you were demonstrated love to look like a certain way in your home, looking at your parents, that will be part of the makeup of how you see love.
Yeah.
If you look at whether you had a good set of friendship with friends, whether it be college friends or school friends,
Yeah.
that will be a perspective and perception as to what love means to you. But I think as I deep dove this word love over the years, I've really started growing in the Lord relentlessly. Was that you cannot know love without knowing God, because
Sure.
God is
Wow.
love, and this has been the battle for me most of my years,
Mm.
because coming out of a divorced home, the affirmation from my dad was all I strove for.
Mm.
Is there a word like strove?
Strived.
Strove. um, it's all I ever strive to obtain.
Mm.
But when I got to know my Father in heaven's love for me, I no longer lived striving for my earthly father's love,
Mm.
because I knew I was loved, whether he loved me or not, which I know he does.
Mm.
But I'm saying is earlier years in my childhood, during the divorce, I wasn't too sure whether they loved me or not. And I'm just speaking about that because it just comes to mind now.
Mm.
And so I could not know what love meant without knowing the love my Father in heaven has for me,
Mm.
It's good.
because he created me,
Yeah.
Exactly.
you know. And so once I started to understand the love that my Father in heaven had for me, it really didn't matter who loved me or didn't love me.
Mm.
Mm.
And that's the revelation that really set my mind free.
Mm.
Sure.
It's good.
You won't be able to love others if you first don't love God
For
Wow.
sure.
and if you don't love your neighbor. But how are you
Absolutely.
going to love your neighbor if you don't even have love to give to others because you don't love yourself?
How do you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So you have nothing to pour out to the next person's cup because your cup is actually empty.
Yeah, but I think this, in the same breath, you also have nothing to if love your neighbor as you love yourself. So that is what the Bible says, that you need to love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm.
But if you don't have self-love, what are you going to measure? What is going to be demonstrative
Exactly.
to the fact that you, or what are you going to compare it to?
Mm.
Because
So if you don't show love, that tells me that you have an issue with yourself.
Mm.
yes,
So the self-love is a lack
yes,
Mm.
with you,
Yeah.
because it is easy to love someone else if you love,
yourself.
Mm.
because like you say, the source of the love is within you.
Yes,
And if you have nothing to give from within you,
that's good.
you don't have anything to give.
And it's
Mm.
like I say, if you love your neighbor as yourself,
Mm.
then you can also say, I'll forgive my neighbor as I forgive myself.
Exactly.
And this is something I've seen that many people don't talk about, but I've seen how people cannot forgive others because they actually cannot forgive themselves.
Exactly.
And that's the worst. That's the worst thing, not being able to forgive yourself.
Because God would have forgiven you already, but
Mm.
yet you are stranded in a place you can't move from
Mm.
because you can't forgive yourself.
Mm.
And that's so true, because like while you guys were speaking, the Holy Spirit just dropped in my spirit, like basically the standard in which you love yourself is the standard which you're gonna love other people. The standard
That's
that the
good.
way you forgive yourself,
Absolutely.
the standard you will forgive others.
That's correct.
And
And same with everything else. If
Exactly.
you can't have the same patience you practice on someone else, is the lack thereof that you, because when you get something wrong, you beat yourself up about it. So when someone else gets
Mm.
something wrong, you want to
wanna
beat them up about it.
Exactly.
And we can
Exactly.
even go further, saying that how you lead others is a reflection of how you lead yourself.
Exactly.
That's good.
Everything
Exactly.
outwardly always starts something inwardly.
Inwardly, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think we close that topic. I don't know if anyone else wants to say something.
I was just reading through. This is myself and Cameron. This is like being like the scripture of our that like the prayer of our heart. Like we always discuss this. That in John 15 verse 13 it says, "No greater love is than." No, sorry. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friend.
Mm.
So I asked myself the question: if I like the way we just say I love you, like
No,
I love
facts.
you.
Facts.
No, I love you.
Or call someone your friend.
Exactly. If you say you love someone, you're gonna need to be able to lay your life down for that person.
Sacrificially, yeah.
And sorry, and that was actually a scripture I wanted to but you are so on time. And when I read the scripture, it talks about friend and it talks about laying down one's life. And this is the question because I don't know the answer. does love come with the condition of loyalty, or should us as a believer of Jesus Christ or us as Christians be laying down our life for anyone that's walking on the street?
I think to answer the question almost immediately is the answer that you've given us with regards to love and the various avenues there are. You don't love your friend the same way you love your wife. You don't love your neighbor, or you don't love your neighbor the same way you love your wife. So, basically, your question, I think that it should be
Case by case.
not necessarily depending on what the role the person plays in your life, or is it? I don't know.
I think that's what. Sorry, Mom. That's what Daniel says, that everyone is valuable, but not everyone adds equal value to
your
you.
life.
So your wife is not gonna or your friend is not adding as much value as your wife adding into your life. But doesn't make them less valuable. They're still valuable,
Yes.
but they just add less or more value to you. And I think that's where you should ask yourself the question. Okay, but I also think that we should refer it back to Christ, because Jesus died for people he knew might not even love him back.
And
He
he's
died
also
for them.
died for people he's never ever met personally.
Yeah.
Exactly, he died for them. He died for
And
us.
that's exactly it.
But in its essence, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying understand that, like the chorus is, he lived to die. That's the reason he came.
His purpose
His
was.
purpose was
to die.
to shed the blood, because that was the sacrificial of the sacrificial sacrifice. Like before Christ, they needed to sacrifice lambs, and the ultimate lamb was the Son of God. So that's the purpose he came for. To lay down, to demonstrate what love is.
Yeah.
So even though I must love, even though I'm not sure whether the person is going to love me back, that's my job. I don't know the person, but I must love them nonetheless, without getting something in return. Because we'll have to die 10,000 deaths if we have to die for everybody, even if they're the ones that we don't know. So I think the purpose Christ came was to die. And dying, again, like the Bible says, you must die to yourself. So if you're able to die to yourself, to your own wants and needs, it is easy to accept people with their goods and their bad.
And that's exactly what I want to do, bring across. Like, no greater love than this is to lay down one's life. And for a friend. And by all means, I do agree to a certain extent to what the Bible means. Like, it doesn't mean your life physically. It could be theoretically. It could mean like, no greater love has a man than to lay down his opinions for a friend. His preferences, the way he feels for a friend, the way, like, and that is honestly what love is demonstrated here. If it's sacrificial, like my dad said in the beginning, if it's sacrificial, then you truly can say that you love the next person. Like, if he asks you something, like, and you can see that particular person is in dire need of help, but you don't feel like it in that point of time, but no matter the way you feel, if you do that for the next person, you're doing it out of love, even though you're not feeling it like, I don't love, like, so sorry, even though in that particular moment you're not saying, I love this guy, that's why I'm doing it, but just because you're doing it despite the way you feel, you can truly say, I love this person because of the action I just exercised. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's what I think love means. Because it's big, because it's easy to say you love a person, but you won't go the extra mile for a person. And I believe that's what the church's problem universally is today. Like, we only believe in prayer, but we don't believe in putting our hands in the mud and putting it on someone's eyes. We don't believe in doing the physical work, the demonstration of what Christ truly, because Christ didn't just walk around and pray for people. Christ actually walked around and did things for people, fed people, touched people's blind eyes, touched people's leprosy hands. Like, he actually made himself dirty to help people. Based on the way, like, and Christ didn't always feel at that particular time. He felt tired. He was a human being. He felt tired. He felt stressed. He felt fearful. So it's not like you he woke up every morning wanting to help people all the time. But he understood that because I love these people so much, this matter the way I feel.
I think also it's not that he just understood what love meant. He actually understood his father's heartbeat.
Agape love.
Because that is exactly what I'm trying to say. Is it comes back down to having the heartbeat of God the Father will make you understand and move in love in ways you've never foreseen yourself to ever do before. And that is something that is such a real manifestation, because if you think about it, if you think about Christ and you think he wasn't really loved by many, he was criticized even by the church. He was followed and persecuted, and there was just lastige Pharisees constantly. But if I was him, I would have hid out many a times by Lazarus' house, knowing that this means he's always going to have a warm plate of food for me, and they're going to make sure that I can just go lay my head down, put my feet up because I'm tired. But he didn't find himself hanging out there all the time. He was out there busy and took the wind and took the waves and took the persecution, took whatever came his way, because he kept himself focused. And I'm sure like he was also tired. Also, he could also feel flattered when a female looked his direction and whatever. But I think it's just that he never ever pursued any of those things, because he understood why he came. He understood what he had to do, and he knew how to keep himself focused. And I think the way how he gets himself refocused all the time to the Father's heartbeat is when he slipped away from the crowds all the time, as we heard and read, because he just went to realign himself. And so this flesh can come into line with what he's here for.
So, sorry, Dad. So, in saying that, do you believe that it takes intentionality and it takes discipline to truly love a person?
Absolutely.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
The thing is, and it's funny enough that we're exiting the month of love, and we're entering into the month of where we will celebrate the death and the resurrection of Christ. For those that will watch this and the rebroadcast of this, and you might not be celebrating, and that's okay. But love is understand when we look at the life of Christ, he constantly had people around him. Now you would automatically think and believe that the 4,000 he fed and the 5,000 he fed, that's like 9,000. They automatically loved him, or they should have loved him. The children that he healed, the lame that he had, the lame that he made walk, the people that he healed of leprosy. We honored to Pastor Glenn yesterday when he spoke about the 10 lepers that lost limbs during leprosy, and then when the 2 came back, they were fully restored with the limbs that they lost, and not only the leprosy, where the other 8 was leprosy free, but still had that had
That's a
missed
powerful demonstration.
It was beautiful. So, but with that being said, understand this. So when Jesus told the disciples, "Go, there's a donkey. Go loosen the donkey, and bring the donkey to me, so that I can ride it." Understand that the people that who witnessed his miracles was the people that laid down the palm trees for him
That's right.
and their clothes.
And we're
But it's
shouting Hosanna.
Hosanna. But it's the same crowd who shouted, "Crucify him."
Sure.
And
So understand that love can be measured by what I can get out.
And what I'm feeling in the moment.
And what I'm feeling in the moment. Wow, 5,000. Yo, I didn't see. Look at that guy. And like we know that Jesus constantly had a crowd around him where he needed to make a conservative effort to get away from the crowd in order to spend time with his Father, to connect with that agape love that you spoke about earlier. But when he appeared, when Christ appeared, people would flock and show him what? Love. When he knew it's the very same crowd that's going to shout crucify me. But he loved that crowd enough still to die.
Sure.
Wow. So, can you want to say something before we move on?
No, it's fine.
So, just in the last minutes, like, let's talk about the way culture sees love to be. And I do believe that people tend to lean towards the culture's way of love more than the king's way of love.
Yeah.
And the culture's way of love is more lust than what love, or it's more lustful than love. And I would like you guys to give your opinion on it, but what's your opinion on culture as a whole and their perspective on love is? Because I always felt, me personally, I always felt that loving a person is truly satisfying a person. Loving a person, like, for me, as a feeling, it should be, I love you, so I'm expected you to love me back, physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. And I'm actually excited to hear your perspective on that, because I know you guys have testimonies, and I know Caitlin has a lot of knowledge when it comes to relationships and stuff like that.
Relationships?
Sure.
No, relationship knowledge, not obviously exercising, but she has a lot of insight because she likes.
Wow,
type of
I didn't
stuff.
even know I had those.
No, you
That's
didn't. Don't lie. Don't lie.
It's just, I think I just obtain knowledge in areas of,
That's what I mean.
especially relationships, because I always tend to. Yes, it's the way my dad's looking at me is mad.
No, I'm looking. You sliding thing is making a noise in my ears. So
Oh, sorry. I think it's so important to. I was actually speaking to someone the other day, and I was saying that a daughter will measure her boyfriend or husband more, measure him up to a father. So the way I see my dad treat my mom in the house, I would expect my husband to treat me that way. And that can be in a good or bad sense.
True.
So, as an example, if my dad belittles my mother and he says that she's not good enough and things like that, when I get married one day and my husband doesn't do that to me, I'm going to think I'm doing something wrong, or maybe he's doing something wrong, when that's not the case. That's not what God had intended marriage to be like. And I was watching a sermon this morning, and it's called Love Being Single, something like that. And
Loving single.
Eh?
Living single.
Living single. And
Was that from Robert Budu?
yeah.
I saw that come up.
And what he mentioned is that the church universally really focuses so much on marriage. Marriage classes, marriage counseling. When you get married, or when you're about to get married, you need to speak to the pastor, because he needs to give you the sort of, like, get you prepared for what you're getting yourself
mentorship.
into. But they're not speaking about singleness.
Embracing singleness.
And the one thing that culture has painted in our heads is that you don't need to be a whole person to get married. You can be your broken old self, because that person is gonna be your other half. That's what they must call these people nowadays, my other half. I have no issue with that, but I'm saying that a healthy relationship takes two healthy people.
And to whole people.
Two healthy and two whole people. So before you get married, it's so important to work through the things that you have been going through, because I feel like we all have trauma.
Of course.
And one thing that I think it was Daddy Sanos that said it, he said that trauma is not an excuse for why we do certain things, but trauma explains why we think and do certain things. And that's also important to work through the things you've been through, because that's how you're gonna be in your marriage one day.
And also, you cannot help for who hurt you, but it is your responsibility to get healed.
Exactly. To
If
get
you
here.
don't want to live in dysfunction.
Yes. And that's one thing I always say, that deliverance is something that happens instantly, but healing takes a process. So we're so eager to jump into marriage, but first get whole yourself. First get healed yourself. I think that's very important.
Exactly. And just going back to what we spoke about earlier, like, getting healed is truly like loving yourself. like embrace singleness. Like I've now understood the importance of being single. And not because I've dated people in the past, but actually because I value singleness so much, because I don't wanna demolish or what's the word you always use, Mom?
Taint.
Or taint what marriage life is supposed to be like, because I have tasted I've experienced there, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say.
100%.
And
Like
yeah.
In society makes singleness look like there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
Like you can't find someone.
Yes,
Exactly.
and don't get me wrong, you still, just because you're single or just because you're focusing on yourself doesn't mean that you're blind.
Absolutely.
Like you can still see someone and be like, oh my gosh, you actually
you're
really
not
good.
weird.
Or
But
you're
the
like,
thing,
I see you.
yes,
I
but
see
you mustn't be so invested in it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You
mustn't
mustn't be like,
pursue it.
yes, you mustn't pursue those things, because
I feel that I need to pursue.
I'm being honest now. I'm being honest, because people that's
Exactly.
watching this probably watching it from school, and they know that I like find like, oh, this boy is like attractive. I'm not saying that I'm not finding boys attractive.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is that it's so important to have someone that you can measure it up to, basically.
Exactly.
And
Correct,
you
yeah.
can never. People chase the relationships, but you need to first get hold yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So yeah,
And
People
when you
chase
get-
relationships instead of reality.
exactly.
And also people's chasing a fictitious idea of what love looks like because of what Hollywood sells love to look like.
And that's exactly what what I was wanting to imply the whole time. Like, you getting whole is truly saying no to average and actually wanting better for yourself.
For
Like,
sure.
you can find someone attractive, but if you don't feel in your spirit that this is the type of person I would want to spend the rest of my life with,
Yeah.
you're settling. And that's what we as a family has learned from Dr. Darius Daniels, that you can live your life in 3 ways: surviving, sinking, or thriving. And surviving is just simply settling for average
Yeah.
and taking anything that the king, or pursuing anything that the king has not given you, is
Yeah.
settling. So in saying that, why settle for something average to you? I'm not saying the person I find attractive is average to the next person that she was
Yes.
supposed to, that they were supposed to be involved with. I'm saying that you as a person is average to what my
And what
calling pertains,
And what you have to contribute.
or what I have to
Rather.
contribute. Exactly.
Absolutely. What was the question again? Because I think I didn't answer your question, or did I?
I think you did. What's
Okay.
So I think the society paints a picture
Of
of
society's
Mm.
what love should look like, and I think if we exercise love in its totality and what society makes it to be, so we in the world, but not of the world. So people are generally like me. I feel, even though it's not the case, but you feel loved when people buy gifts or acts of, we know the love language, acts of service, affection, that type of thing, right? So it stirs and this is the thing, and I don't know what the hormone is called within your body that makes you feel a certain way.
The feel good hormone.
A good hormone, so you
The
feel
feel good hormone.
I feel good hormone. So you feel a certain way when, because an act of service from me to Cameron is not going to make him butterflies in his stomach and make him all feel all calm and fluffy and whatever the case would be. He's going to be appreciative of it, but it's not going to make him a certain way. But if I do an act of service for Candace, it's gonna make her feel a certain way. It's going to make her feel, and people say this. When you rub my feet, or when you scratch my hair, or when you buy me gifts, that's when I know, or then I feel loved. But is it love? Is it? And again, I have no issue with gifts. I buy Candace gifts. I do acts of service from time to time. Rubber feet. We'll stop there. But understand that we said, I'll say that stop there. So, so
Tears.
that is when she'll tell me that, and this is what she says, I quote, open quote, that you don't have to buy me all these expensive things. I'm simple. It's simple. Just acts of service. Rub my feet from time to time. Hold my hand from time to time. Bring flowers home from time to time. Walk on the beach from time to time. That is when I feel loved.
And if you think about society will, because that's why people will get themselves into debt come Valentine's Day, because there's a standard that society has set that if you buy the most expensive jewelry, the most romantic dinner for two at the best restaurant in town. And so I remember even as a teenager where I started dating, my friends would like say, well, they went there or they got that. Now you're measuring against and you're comparing yourself. And it was such an obscured understanding of what love meant, because after that day was done, then you kind of
Love is at the door.
you kind of back to a normal day. And I always said that every day should be Valentine's Day. Every day should be a day that you add value to the people that you love's lives.
Definitely.
And so don't pull out all the stops on one day. For me, it matters every single day. And I'm not saying buy gifts every single day, because I'm not a gifts person. I love receiving gifts, but for me, it's more about adding value to my life. If you think about even time is such a gift that if you waste it and spill it, you can't get it back again. You can't ever retrieve it again. You cannot retrieve time that's passed. And so even with my time, if I can't add value to someone's life and they add value to mine when I give them my time, I almost feel like you don't deserve it. You don't deserve my time because I could have done something different and better. And so I believe that love is truly wanting to and this is how I'm going to end by saying that love to me is wanting to add value to someone else's life, even if it means a visit. I'm going there willingly and intentionally want to deposit into their love bank how I can add value to their lives by showing how I love them. If I think about going to my sister's house or to my brother's house, if I can add value into taking the little ones off their hands, because being a mom with small ones, it makes you tired. So if I can take that off their hands while I'm there, that is me showing love. If I can see these dishes piling up and I quickly just put water in the zinc and I just start washing up without no one asks me, that shows love. It is seeing literally how I can add value to someone's life, because at the end of the day that is, like you said, laying your life down for a friend. You go visit someone, you're not thinking about cleaning the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's not something that you're going there willingly, like I'm going to clean the kitchen. But when you see that the need is there, for whatever reason that may be, is it going to harm you that much to do the dishes without having to be asked? And that's acts of love, wanting to add value, taking something out of someone else's hands.
That's good.
Sure.
Sure.
Powerful episode.
Wow, very much
Solid.
powerful episode. Anyone else have something to say shortly?
Just an honor to you for the inspiration in terms of hearing, even though it is something that is coincided in a time of what people perceive love to be, the 14th of January. I think in many homes, that's probably the only day that the lady of the house gets a bunch of flowers or
And actually gets
a
honored.
gift or gets honored in somewhat way. And I'm it might go contrary to a lot of inverted commas church people, but I'm gonna say it nonetheless. If that one day was created for someone to feel loved, then it's one day that was created for someone to feel loved.
Yeah.
It's worth a day. It is welcoming. It is Christ-like to let someone else feel and know that you're thinking of them,
Yeah.
and I mean this in the most clean way, not sexually, not wanting to get into your pants or jump into bed. I'm saying is, if it takes one day for someone to know that they somewhat special, then it's what people's churches are gonna say it's a money making scheme. It can be whatever you like it to be.
Someone's getting honored.
Someone
getting valued.
someone is on that day is feeling that they are appreciated
And nationally,
internationally.
internationally, we are, and that's exactly it. We know Christmas isn't a day on the 25th of December, but internationally we are celebrating it as a
Together.
nation.
Yeah.
That in itself is powerful.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and that is important, and that is what it is. That last 50 rand on no one, and it's so so funny. And again, society makes that that time of the month no one has money, and your salary is done, or whatever the case may be. That's what society says. But if it's that last 30 rand to buy a box of cheap chocolates, that last 30 rand chocolates is worth way more than any Swiss chocolates box or any Swedish chocolate or Turkish chocolate that you can find anywhere in the world. Because and again, it's the place, the source it comes from.
But they also don't have to make the stuff so expensive, eh? Because the same people, the same consumers is having to consume and pay for that expensive chocolates also has to buy other things throughout the month from the very same shop.
But and that's exactly the thing that I was mentioning. It is that we take that away and saying, I know that I can buy a bread with this. I know we're probably going to sit in the dark tomorrow night. We probably need, because I'm getting paid
But
on
for
the
night, eat the sweetie
but
pies.
tonight or this evening or this morning or whenever you feel that tonight, I want to let you know, and you want to let him know, and you want to let her know, because in our home, even Candace's puppy gets flowers.
Oh yes,
So even so,
she's a female.
Yeah.
when we take the moment to honor, to celebrate, to remember, to exalt, and again, not above God, but take a moment to uplift someone else, that's an act of love.
Yeah.
That will take you find yourself maybe here on a similar level, but you actually, you raise the person up and you quite content and okay to be lower than.
Below.
Wow. What a
Yeah.
powerful episode.
Thank you for watching.
Well,
Thank you for
thank you so
listening.
much, guys, for watching.
We
Once
love you.
again, if you guys want any custom-made cups, hot dog cups, please
DM us.
leave
Yes.
a comment
give
or
you a
DM us
price.
individually
It's actually
on our
beautiful.
talks. Very much beautiful.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So without further ado, we're gonna be off. And I pray that you guys are blessed by our conversation. I pray
Yeah.
that your life was changed. I pray that your mind was changed.
Transform.
And
We'd like to see
ultimately-
some guests on
No, definitely
on
guests
Hot
are
Talks,
coming.
right? So
Guests are
Yeah, the
coming.
guests are coming.
We are collaborating with a lot of people
you are.
outside this setting. So they are coming. They definitely
Soon.
are coming
Very soon.
in this year. But yeah,
That's gonna be
that's
exciting.
all I'm gonna say.
That
It's
is going to be
super-
exciting.
Super exciting.
Super excited. So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining
Thanks
us.
for tuning in.
Thank you for watching our talks.
God
And this
bless.
is where we obtain knowledge in areas of ignorance.
Ignorance
I
of
forgot you.
ignorance.
I don't think you said that in the
You
beginning.
know what? It's not crying on me still. But anyway, we're gonna work on it. So anyway, thank you so much for being
We love
here
you.
with us. Thank you for listening to us.
We
Like,
love you.
subscribe, all the good stuff. We
God
love you.
bless.
Bye.
Love you.